For centuries, humans have been growing alongside our botanical brethren. Our histories have mixed and mingled to bring us modern medical marvels, faded folklore, and everything in between. Of course, in order to understand the plant, we have to start with its roots. I'm M. Grubner Gaddis, and this is Rooted. Hello, and welcome back to yet another episode of Rooted. This week, we're continuing on in our potion deep dive, but we're mixing it up a little bit. Since we're about halfway through our series, now felt like a good time to cover the plants in the potion that we've actually already covered on the show. So for this episode, I won't be going into a ton of detail, but instead giving you a quick rundown on the basics, why we think that this plant is named the way that it is in the potion, and what it's bringing to the table. Or cauldron, I guess you could say in this case. I'll also have all of the full-length episodes linked in the description in case you want to dig just a little bit deeper. The potion ingredients we'll be focusing on today are blindworm sting, root of hemlock, and finger of birth-strangled babe ditch delivered by a drab. Starting off with blindworm sting, historians believe that this could either be poppy, which we covered in episode 28, or wormwood, which we covered in episode 5. It's tough to know for sure which one Shakespeare meant, as they both have a lot of very similar effects on the brain in terms of helping the body to relax, sometimes a little too much, and having hallucinogenic effects for some people. The reason poppy, or Papaver sulfuridium, is suspected is due to its nickname at the time, blind eyes, due to the fact that they were often used to induce sleep. Wormwood, or Artemisia absinthium, is another obvious choice for that same reason, and because of its deep ties to historical medicine and mischief. Both of these plants have a colorful history in recreation, where they were used to induce dreams and hallucinations. Poppy, of course, is what brought us the likes of morphine and heroin, while wormwood was historically the active ingredient in absinthe. In a potion, I suspect these would both be added for the very same reason, to make the taker see something, and perhaps induce a deep sleep or trance state, though that's all purely speculation. And that's okay, because this isn't a real spell, so all we can do is our best. If I had to narrow it down to one option, I would likely choose poppy, but only because in some spells, wormwood is actually used to ward off evil, so it feels just a little counterintuitive to put that into your potion that you're using to summon, like, the purest evil you possibly could. With that being said, this next ingredient is much easier to guess, since, well, it's an actual thing. Root of henbane digged in the dark is exactly what it sounds like, root of henbane, which was actually our first ever episode and a plant near and dear to my heart for that very reason. While the first episode is more than a little rough audio-wise, it is absolutely filled with all kinds of amazing fun facts about henbane, its uses, and even how it led to the rumor that witches fly around on broomsticks. Now, it's important to understand that henbane used to be heavily associated with witches and witchcraft at the time, so it's completely understandable that it would have been added into any potion. If for no other reason, then it was something witches would surely have on hand. Kind of like onions for cooking, I guess. In the potion, henbane likely would have been added for the vibes, but also because it has a similar ability to cause hallucinations and release inhibitions. But it can also make you vomit, seize, and bleed out of the ear if you're Claudius and Hamlet. Besides just causing a sick mix of pain and pleasure, henbane also could have been added to increase the witch's connection to a specific god or spirit, as that was also a common use, especially in ancient Greece. As to why it would be dug up in the dark, I'm guessing it would just be because if anyone saw you digging it up, they would immediately assume you were a witch, and it was just easier and maybe a little bit creepier for the sake of the spell. And last, but certainly not least on our list of ingredients today, we have kind of a doozy. Finger of a birth-strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab. Now, I have good news and bad news on this one. The good news, I can tell you what the finger of Babe is, and it's not baby fingers, thank God, but I have no idea what it means to ditch deliver something, or what the heck a drab could possibly be referring to. So if you know, please tell me, as this has literally haunted my dreams all week. But back to this not being baby fingers, the potion ingredients in question is actually much more likely to be foxglove, which was sometimes grossly called bloody fingers due to the elongated cup-like blooms that I suppose you could say look like fingers, and they were and are a deep fuchsia color. We covered this in episode 27, where I explained that foxglove is highly toxic and contains a chemical called digitoxin, which causes the heart to beat slower and more forcefully until it eventually stops altogether. In a potion, I would assume it's in there doing exactly that, stopping the heart and inflicting just a little extra pain on the way out. While a lot of these plants have similar use in the potion, they truly couldn't be more different from one another. These episodes happen to be some of my favorites, and they all dig into a long list of other topics, so there really is something in them for everyone. I hope you take some time this week to dig back into these plants a little more, especially if you like episodes that are heavy on medicine or mischief. That's all I've got for you this week, but I'll be back with another potion deep dive for you soon. See you then! If you like the show, please consider subscribing and leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you listen. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at rooted.pod, we're on YouTube at rooted.podcast, and you can check out our website, rootedpod.com, for transcripts, updates, and so much more. Special thanks to Eric Cluxon for writing and performing our theme music, and of course, a special thank you to all of you for being here. Until next time, be kind to yourselves, be kind to the earth, and just like a plant, drink your water.